everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, I've got multiple videos to share with you guys out of California of very mysterious objects in the day and nighttime sky. A couple of days ago, we saw video footage coming out of the Los Angeles area of brush fires getting very close to the metropolitan area. I've received video footage today of more brush fires approaching a house near Riverside, California. We're going to come back and take a look at that video footage here in just a moment. I also have a UV reading I want to share with you guys real quick by Darren out of Abbotsford, British Columbia. That would be in the southern part of British Columbia, taken on July 19th of 2024 at high noon. 12.06 was the total UVAB out of Abbotsford, which is a little bit high for southern Canada. Thank you, Darren. Really appreciate that. Coming over here to the homepage of the website, today's feature photo sent in by Bill H. of what looks like a popsicle in the daytime sky. Get a load of that photo, would you? Just a random what looks like a rainbow cloud in the daytime sky. Checking in on the GOES X-ray flux over here at the Space Weather Prediction Center. You can see a series of M-class solar flares that last 24 hours as the Earth-facing side of the sun is still loaded with sunspots and active regions, and we've got more turning towards the Earth right now as I do this video. Looking at the Schumann resonance, very quiet the last 24 hours. However, yesterday it was very busy, so seeing wild swings in the Schumann resonance. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano. Speaking of wild swings, up here at the borehole seismograph, again, this one here is in a league all its own. Looks like the ground is literally moving there along the northern edge of the caldera. You can see a little bit of earthquake activity. That's the red vertical lines you see on the graph over here at Parker Peak. Other than that, nothing major going on at the supervolcano. Here's a look at the wildfire smoke near Riverside, California. You can see the big plume of smoke near Riverside, and here's the video footage out of Riverside, California from yesterday. You saw the wildfire smoke on satellite. This is one of the areas where the thick smoke was originating from, and you can see how very close it was to this house right here. Hopefully everything turned out okay, but the brush fires around Los Angeles right now are very intense on both the south and north sides of the Los Angeles area. Also wildfires up here in the Angeles National Forest. I want to take you guys now up to Montana. Video footage sent in by Joseph, the night watchman, goes back to July 14th of 2024 at 1:14 a.m. He looked up and saw this in the nighttime sky. And here's a close-up view of whatever this object was at a very high altitude at 1:14 in the morning, cruising through the sky. Once again, very high in the sky. I'm not quite sure what we've got going on here. I don't believe it's the space station. Sometimes you can see the space station quite easily, in fact, in the nighttime sky, but this is not the space station. This is kind of meandering around in the nighttime sky above Montana, and Joseph doesn't miss much. I mean, he sees a lot of different things, very cool things in the nighttime skies above Montana. This is just another example of a mysterious object spotted in the nighttime sky very early in the morning around 1:14 a.m. and there you can see it kind of disappeared off into the darkness. Another great catch by Joseph, the night watchman out of Montana. Going from Montana to Sacramento, California, Gary, July of 2024. Check this out. You guys aren't going to believe what's happening here in this. This is the vertical version of the original video sent in by Gary. There's actually two objects here that are traveling together. Look very similar to what Joseph saw up in Montana. That one does right there, but there's one up here that's super stealthy. You can't hardly see, but it's traveling at the same speed as the very bright, obvious one, also at a very high altitude above Sacramento, California. That was the original vertical video. Now I'm going to play it in fast forward so you can see the secondary object right up there a little bit easier. See it? And you can see how they are indeed traveling together, and the secondary object right there kind of slowed down, and the larger, brighter one appeared to accelerate a little bit. But see the secondary object up there? Traveling with it, maybe a little bit slower at times, but it did seem to be traveling with the bright object. high in the sky above Sacramento, California. And right here I did an ultra zoom side by side. I was trying to pull forward the dimmer object that was directly above this large bright object, once again at a very high altitude above Sacramento, California. These were spotted here recently in the nighttime sky above Sacramento, California. If you look close, you can see that secondary object right there, very stealthy, moving with the larger bright object. Not quite sure where it came from, not quite sure where they were going, but it does look almost identical to what Joseph saw in the sky above Montana. Great catch, Gary. Thanks for sharing. And I have more mysterious footage, also out of California, this time in the daytime sky. What is going on here? This video has narration. It was sent in by Michelle. Here we go.
MBB 333. We got a phone call from a friend of ours that there's this white thing in the sky. It's been there all day, supposedly. Hasn't been moving. So I wanted to videotape it and show you. So I'm going to do that right now.
And as you heard Michelle say at the beginning of the video, a friend of hers had been watching this thing in the sky the biggest part of the day. Now it's 7:20 p.m. She called Michelle and said, hey, go look outside and look for this white object. They'd been watching it all day. Michelle, sure enough, spotted it too. I zoom in close on this thing. It's not a balloon because typically if it's a balloon, you'll see a payload hanging off of the bottom. This wasn't a balloon. Not quite sure what exactly this thing was. Here I do a heavy zoom. I go in super tight. You don't see any type of a payload. This thing is perfectly round, perfectly still. In most cases, balloons are at the mercy of the wind and they will move around and in some cases drift completely out of the field of view at a pretty good pace. Sometimes they can move fast just depending on the weather conditions. But as you can see, there was a large white object in the daytime sky. Could have been the same object that folks were seeing in the nighttime sky. Just looks a little different in the daytime sky, that's all. Looks to be about the same size. It's very bright. I don't know if it's just reflecting sunlight or if it's got its own light source. But the next segment of the video here is in fast forward, as this video was several minutes long. And again, this was in the sky most of the day on June 23rd of 2024. Great catch, guys. Thanks for sharing. Really appreciate that. That was by Michelle out of California. And back to the brush fire situation real quick. Here's Riverside. This is a map of the brush fire that was approaching that house. In fact, the flames were nearly touching the house. The Hawarden fire, 527 acres. And you can see how close it is to Victoria Avenue. This fire is growing very rapidly in Southern California, just south of Riverside. Thanks for the photos and videos, guys. Keep them coming. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.